In my groups and in my one-on-one coaching, it's a very collaborative process where we're soft scripting your story. So we're sifting through all of the raw material of what you're already doing, what you're already saying, what you're already being, how you are already showing up in your life. And then we're finding the through threads in that. Welcome to How to Trust Yourself, the podcast for anyone who's done with the endless second guessing and ready to tune in to your inner guidance. I'm Anna Holtzman, and I get that feeling of trudging through life like you're wading through mud, trying to figure out which way to go. In my 20s, I spent more time asking what should I do with my life than writing about crushes or bad dates in my journal. I've tried on a lot of answers: architecture, publishing, editing reality TV for a decade, and finally landing on therapy and coaching, helping people like you connect with your purpose. But here's the thing I've learned through all those twists and turns. Trusting yourself is the key to moving forward, even when the path feels messy. So if you're ready to stop doubting yourself and start listening to your gut, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back, dear listener. And if this is the first time you're listening, well, then just welcome. And if I haven't introduced myself yet to you, I'm Anna Holtzman. I am a therapist and coach, and I help sensitive creatives, coaches, healers, and entrepreneurs show up for their work without burning out or abandoning themselves. And I have not always done this work. I have had many, many, many twists and turns along the path of my career. And that is something that I use in my work with clients, because oftentimes folks are coming to me ready to step into either a new version of their career, a new version of themselves, into a new career, some kind of a new identity. And moving into new identities is something I have done a lot of throughout my life, and especially throughout my career. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And I'm going to tell a little story today that comes from one of the previous career identities, which was I worked as a video editor, editing reality TV shows for about 10 years, a pretty significant chunk of my professional life. And I've been reflecting lately on something kind of funny. I don't know. I think this is kind of funny that there's something I learned working in reality TV that is actually a metaphor for finding your purpose. And I'm going to explain. But doing the work that I did in reality TV has helped me so much as a therapist and coach. And one of the ways that it's helped me is that it's taught me how to find the through thread in all of the messy reality. And so I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about something, this concept from reality TV that's called soft scripting, and how soft scripting taught me how to find my purpose in life and how to help others find theirs, taught me how to find my voice and how to help others find their voice and step into it. Um, and before I talk about that, I want to share something that I'm offering. Oh, sorry, I'm a little all over the place. I knew there was something else I wanted to say, which is that I don't have a very solid script for today's episode, and that actually feeds right into the soft scripting idea, right? Like I have an idea for the structure, but it's not fully scripted out. Usually I come into these recording sessions not with a script, but with a scripted set of questions that really guides me um, into the story that I want to tell. So today I'm a little bit flying by the seat of my pants, but I have confidence that we are going to find that through thread together. So before I get into it, I want to invite you into something new that I am offering. I have recently this is brand new. So I'm just launching now a new group membership. It's called Seen and Safe. And it's a twice monthly group coaching program for sensitive creatives, healers, entrepreneurs, coaches who want to stop hiding and finally feel safe showing up and being visible. Inside Seen and Safe, you'll get nervous system informed guidance, encouragement from me and from peers who see your genius. You'll get structured, doable actions to move your work forward without burning out. And we will focus on the visibility that matters, the kind that connects you with the people you're here to serve and that allows your work to actually reach them. So if this sounds like something that you need right now, and I know you do, because we all need this. I need this. Everything that I offer and that I create comes out of what I'm needing, what I see my clients are needing. And I honestly, I can't think of anyone really who doesn't need this. We all need visibility in order to connect with other people, in order to find the people that we're meant to connect with the work that we do, in order to keep doing the work that we love doing and sustain and thrive. And visibility is it's just like a challenging thing for our nervous systems. It just is. It's not a problem that we solve at some point and then it's like easy breezy, never feel any stress about visibility. We're always stepping into new levels with visibility, and that always stretches our capacity, our nervous system stretches us to grow. And I know I need support with that growth. And I know that you do too. So if that sounds like something that would really nurture you right now, I would love to have you join us. I would love to welcome you into this membership. It's open now. You can be one of the founding members. Come join us. Come be with us. You can join us by signing up now at annaholtzman.com/seen and safe. As all one word, annaholtzman.com/seen and safe. I cannot wait to be together in this supportive experience with you. Okay, so back to the story that I'm going to tell today about what reality TV taught me about finding your voice and finding your purpose. I mean, it's a funny thing, right? Who would have thought reality TV would teach me that? And I mean, I'll just start there and say that it, it's not intended as a knock on reality TV. First of all, I now that I'm not working in reality TV anymore, I love watching reality TV. I mean, that is just like a a pastime that I enjoy, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I love me some reality TV watching as a way of relaxing. And when I was working in reality TV, I met some of the most incredible, fun, interesting, talented, wonderful people working in that field, and I'm still friends with a lot of them. I'm very, very grateful for a lot of the things that I got that came with the experience of working in reality TV. There were also a lot of things that I enthusiastically did not enjoy about working in reality TV. Um, the labor practices were, I mean, it was just like the long, brutal hours could be very, very stressful environment at times. In fact, often, most of the time, it was a very stressful environment. Even though, we'd have a lot of banter and camaraderie, it was a lot of it was trauma bonding. Um, brutal hours, just like nonstop stress, just people always trying to squeeze more out of you and not treat you as a human in that way. And some of the shows I worked on, I really loved and thought were great. Some of them just felt really exploitative and, were really like uh, pushing harmful stereotypes and manipulating the people who were in the shows. And there was just like a lot of crappy stuff that went on both behind the scenes and uh, on camera. That was one aspect of the industry. And like I said, there were also some shows that were really great experiences, and I thought they were great shows. And th- throughout, I met a lot of great people. So that said, um, reality TV was something that I thought was going to be a stepping stone into becoming a film director. I was, I developed the skill of editing, and that's how I was found a way to make money. And there was a lot of work in reality TV, but it was never a place that I had intended to be like a landing place for me. And then one job led to another, and I wound up doing that work for 10 years. And I wound up learning a lot of, I think, really interesting things. And what I'm going to share with you today is this reality TV concept called soft scripting. So, what is soft scripting? And then in a moment, we'll talk about how it relates to finding your voice and finding your purpose. But most reality shows are not pure documentary. They're really not pure documentary. Um, and no reality shows are fully scripted. I mean, if they were, they wouldn't be a reality show, right? It would be a sitcom or a drama or some other form of scripted show. So most reality shows sit in this funny in between zone, this gray area that they call in the industry soft scripted. Soft scripted. And I will describe what that means through the lens of my experience, the experience that I had as an editor working on these shows. So when it like if it was what they call like a follow doc where they're like following like the Kardashians is a follow doc. They're following around um the subjects through their daily life. So if I was working on a follow doc, the the producers and the shooters, they would start off by well, they would start I wasn't brought into the scene in the very, very beginning. So they would do a bunch of stuff that I really wasn't there for. And I'm just talking about my experience. My experience would be that I would get a ton of footage dumped onto my desk to sift through where they were, like following people around and following them through their daily life. And daily life is, it's not usually not a clear story. It's not like this linear narrative with an arc to it and a beginning, middle, and end. Like life is messy. Life has a lot of different things going on in it. So I would get just this like mess of spaghetti, like all this footage dumped on my desk, and we're sifting through it. Me and the story producer are sifting through it. And through this mess of footage, we're starting to see through lines like, oh, this story is forming in that story. And like, oh, I see like there's a romantic interest between these two. And like, what's that going to turn into? And like these, all we're starting to find all these different story elements and how they intersect with each other. And I'm really simplifying and condensing this, but as we sift through the mess of it all, we start to find the through threads, right? So that's the unscripted part. That's the aspect where we really are taking in like a bunch of just raw material of life, and we're looking at what is already playing out And then we're starting to see, like, what are the patterns here? What are the connections here? What are the through threads? And then the soft that's like the soft part, I guess, right? That's the messiness. The scripted part is where we start saying, "Oh, this is a start of a story. Wouldn't it be cool if the story arced in this direction?" And then the producers would start to kind of shape things so that the story would go in the most interesting direction that would, like, really bring the show forward for the audience. And in some situations, this was, like, really, really contrived and manipulated. And in other situations, it was more just like a gentle nudge to what was already happening. There would be some shows where they would literally, like, write lines for, people to say, and sometimes people would refuse to say it, and so they would trick them into saying a bunch of different things that then we would what they call frankenbite into the sound bite that we wanted them to say. I'm laughing now, but, I mean, sometimes it was funny, and sometimes it was, like, a violation of this person's real actual voice or their story, but I'm getting into a tangent there. That's for another time. So yeah, soft scripting is starting by finding the through threads in what is already playing out and then nudging it into the direction that will be most fruitful and most compelling and most purposeful from what's already playing out. So I'll button the analogy part there and then bring this into how is this relevant to you? How is this relevant to you in your pursuit of finding your story, finding your voice, finding your purpose, and bringing it out into the world? Well, this soft scripting, it's actually a really great metaphor for how I have charted the course of my life, my purpose, my winding path of different career and identity incarnations. And it's also a great metaphor for how I support the clients that I work with and how I coach the folks in my groups, including the group that is open now for you to join, Seen and Safe. I use this concept of soft scripting where I don't come in to a session with a one-on-one client or into a coaching conversation with someone in a group saying, "This is what I think your story should be. And now you force yourself into this story." Nor do I encourage my group members and clients to say, "You know what? I saw, like, someone else do this thing, and that's exactly what I wanna do, and even though it doesn't feel comfortable for me and it doesn't feel authentic to me and I feel like I'm a big fake, I'm gonna, like, squeeze myself into the shape of this story and this identity and this whatever, and just hold my breath and white knuckle it and hope that it works." No, that is not the way we do things together. In my groups and in my one-on-one coaching, it's a very collaborative process where we're soft scripting your story. So we're sifting through all of the raw material of what you're already doing, what you're already saying, what you're already being, how you are already showing up in your life. And then we're finding the through threads in that. We're finding what are the threads of your message, your story, your purpose. And as we start to identify those through threads, then we can be really intentional about nurturing them. Then we can say, oh, okay, I see. Like, these are the themes that are already showing up in who you are. Wouldn't it be cool if we gave them a channel, an outlet, an arena to really flourish into their full expression? And, a lot of times it's really, really hard to sift through the raw material all on our own in a vacuum. I mean, it was the same in TV. Like, we always worked in creative teams in television because working alone, it's really hard to zoom out all on your own, especially when it's your own material that you're looking at. And a, like a very common scenario that I'll experience with clients and group members is that they'll they'll speak a quote unquote problem. They'll say, "Oh, I really," like I'll just role play it for a moment here. And when I work with my own coach, and I'm a member of groups too, and it's, I occupy both roles. Um so a client might show up, or a group member might show up, or I might show up in my own coaching sessions and say, like, I really, like, I feel like I'm ready to do something new, but I just don't know what it is, and I feel so frustrated, and I feel like this feeling of, like, tension in my body because it's like a balloon that's expanding inside of me, and it wants to come out, but then it's like my exoskeleton is so rigid and tight, and it's pressing the balloon in, and this is like I'm just speaking extemporaneously, honestly. And so, like, the person will just be expressing this incredible thing in these visceral, relatable details, and then they'll say, and the thing is, I just really have nothing to say. And it's like, you just said a whole lot, but you're not looking at it as raw material, but it is the raw material. It is raw material. And now we get to sift through it and pull out different words that seem to sparkle and parse out what are the themes that are emerging here that we can weave into the story arc that we can then nurture so that it can grow into its fullest expression. And that's really the heart of what I wanted to share with you today. This idea that whether it's in reality TV or in your own life, there's a through thread that's already there in the raw material of your experience. It's about noticing it, gently nudging it, and letting it flourish into something meaningful and expressive. And you don't have to do this alone. That's exactly what we do in my Seen and Safe membership. We sift through the raw material together. We find the threads of your story, your voice, your purpose, and we give them a channel to really shine. So if today's episode resonated with you, if this is speaking to you, if you've been feeling ready to step more fully into your voice, but you need a safe, supportive space to do it, I would love to invite you to join us. And you can find all the details and sign up at annaholtzman.com/seen and safe, all as one word. So come be one of our founding members and let's do this work together. Thank you so much for listening today, for trusting yourself enough to hear this, and for showing up for your own story. I can't wait to see what you soft script next, and I'll see you in the next episode of How to Trust Yourself. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor. Hit that follow button so you don't miss a thing, and leave a rating or review. It helps more people find this show, and honestly, it makes my day. And if you're looking for more ways to trust yourself and start listening to that gut instinct of yours, come hang out with me on Instagram at Anna_Holtzman. Let's keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, trust yourself. You've got this.